Let's build an 80s pop drum groove in Logic together. Our reference track today is Don't You Want Me by the Human League. First we set a tempo of 118 BPM. Then we have to create a new MIDI track, and we're going to load in the Drum Machine Designer. Once we have an empty Drum Machine Designer track loaded in, we will go to Electronic Drum Kit here on the left, and then scroll down and look for Lindrum. A Lindrum is one of the famous drum machines from the 80s, and the Human League actually used a real Lindrum on their song, Don't You Want Me, and Logic has a pretty good imitation of that, so we will be using that. So let's open the piano roll, and then we can start painting in our drum groove. Now that sounds about right for the kick and the snare. For the hi-hat, we have a very fast 16th note pattern. For the hi-hat, I'm going to reduce the velocity on every second hit, so it's just a bit quieter and sounds a bit more natural. Then I'm just going to copy these hits so I don't have to paint all of these again. I'm also going to reduce the velocity on some of these kicks. Then I'm just going to copy all of this one more time, because at the end here, I want to add a little fill that happens occasionally in the song. I think that's it. Okay, so right away, I think the snare doesn't quite sound right. It sounds like on the original there's some kind of filter on it. So I'm just going to go to the snare here, and I will filter out some of those high frequencies. Okay, that sounds more like it. So now that we got the groove, because it's an 80s drum beat, we really need to add some reverb. So first of all, I'm going to go to the snare, and I can see the Drum Machine Designer has already created 2 buses here for us. So let's check out this reverb that Logic offers to us by just sending some of this snare track onto bus 7. Oh, okay. It's not quite like the original, but it is a gated reverb. So yeah, sounds pretty good. And what's this? Oh yeah, that's some delay. So we'll do a bunch of gated reverb and a little bit of delay. It sounds pretty nice. We'll just stick with that. And then we also want the hi-hat on some reverb. So the hi-hat also goes to bus 7. So we'll put it there as well. The good thing about sending all the instruments to one reverb is then, of course, it'll sound like they're in one room together. Oh yeah, that sounds pretty nice. Okay, so here's our finished drum groove.